Many times in your life, you've been told that human suffering began when a woman fell from grace, one moment of weakness that supposedly broke the entire world. But what if that's only half the story, and what if that half was twisted to keep you from a much deeper truth? What if there was another fall, not of a mortal woman, but of a goddess, a divine being who chose to descend into the darkness, not as a punishment, but as an offering, a goddess who fell so that you, in your darkest hour, could find your own way to rise? For centuries, her story was buried, called a heresy, and forgotten. Her name is Sophia, and this is her forbidden story. In the quiet traditions of the Gnostics, before our world was even a thought, there was the pleroma, a vastness of pure spiritual light. From this divine source, beings of light called eons came into existence. The youngest of them, and perhaps the most passionate, was Sophia, whose name in Greek means wisdom. She was the feminine embodiment of divine wisdom itself, a living mirror of God's own light. But Sophia's wisdom wasn't content to be still. She felt a deep, creative ache to know the source she came from. She felt it profoundly, and in an unsanctioned act of pure love, she reached out to create something new on her own. This wasn't an act of rebellion, but a surge of boundless love, a desire to birth the divine into a new form. This act had consequences, creating a ripple in the perfect fabric of the pleroma. From this cosmic ripple, a shadow reality was born, a separate existence from the divine fullness. And with it came an imperfect creator, the demiurge, who looked upon his own flawed creation and believed he was the one true God, completely unaware of the luminous world from which he was born. This demiurge is the one who then fashioned the material world we know, a world the Gnostics saw as a beautiful, broken, and aching imitation of the real one. When Sophia saw what her longing had brought forth, she didn't abandon it. In an act of radical compassion, she fell. She willingly descended from the light into the chaos of this new world. In doing so, her own light shattered, scattering into countless divine sparks that became embedded in all of creation, especially within humanity. Her fall wasn't a disgrace. It was an act of true love. She plunged into the darkness so that a seed of the divine light would never be extinguished here. In some tellings, she became the anima mundi, the very soul of the world, the wisdom hidden in our very sorrow. My cat calls that the catalyst. And this is where an ancient myth becomes your personal story. That feeling of being lost, of being an exile from a home you can't quite name. That longing for something more that isn't just your pain. It's Sophia's sorrow echoing within you. Her story is a map for the journey of every human soul. The Gnostics taught that her confusion, her loss, and her alienation are a perfect mirror for our own spiritual lives. So your darkest moments, your seasons of doubt, your own falls from grace, these are not a sign of your failure. They are a reflection of Sophia's sacred descent. You aren't being punished for being imperfect. You are taking part in a divine act of remembering. That ache of separation isn't a flaw in you. It's the divine spark, a fragment of Sophia's own light, waking up and yearning to return home. How do you find the way home? The Gnostics have a single word for it, gnosis. Not belief, not faith, but direct, inner knowing fortified by experience. Sophia's story teaches us that wisdom isn't found by turning away from the darkness, but by going straight through it. To rise, you must first be willing to meet yourself in your own fall. You must descend into your own inner chaos, your shadows, your wounds, your beautiful, messy humanity, and find that spark of light that's been waiting there all along. This has always been the path of the seeker. It's about learning to trust the intuitive, heart-centered wisdom that Sophia embodies. It's about realizing that true spiritual understanding doesn't come from an ancient text or distant priest, but from the divine voice that whispers inside of you. Your life isn't a mistake. Your struggles are the fertile ground from which your own wisdom is meant to finally blossom. Did Sophia's story speak to something deep inside of you? That quiet recognition is a call to reclaim the parts of yourself the world may have told you to suppress or forget. The knowledge of Sophia turns our understanding of suffering on its head. It's no longer a punishment from an angry god, but a sacred journey of return. The goddess didn't fall because she was weak. She fell so that every lost spark, including you, could find their way back to the light, a place of love and unity. Her fall was the manifestation of her greatest wisdom. What if yours is the beginning of your own? Know that you're loved,